Hi, my name's Daniel, and if I sound a little broken, it's because I am. I don't know why I'm telling this. Maybe the guilt is eating me alive. Maybe because I have no one left to talk to. Or maybe I just need anyone to hear me out. I betrayed the woman I love, the mother of my 3 children, the one person who trusted me with everything. And I did it by sleeping with her own sister. I know. I'm scum. You don't have to say it, I already know. It happened last Christmas. My father-in-law's house was warm, noisy, filled with cinnamon and roast and laughter. The kids were tearing through presents. Catherine, my wife, was glowing in a red sweater, dancing around the kitchen. Her laugh, that laugh could melt you, and I destroyed it all. Marissa, her little sister, showed up late, as always, 10 years younger, wild, loud, dressed like she was going to a nightclub, not a family dinner. She had this way of looking at me, touching my arm when she walked by, calling me Big Bro, with a tone that wasn't sisterly. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel something. I hated myself for it. But I felt it. After dinner, I stepped outside to smoke. Marissa followed. She handed me a drink and said, "Catherine doesn't know how to keep a man like you. If I had you, I'd never let you sleep alone." I laughed it off. But she leaned in closer. "Come on, don't act like you haven't thought about it. You've looked at me too." She pulled me toward the old tool shed behind the house. It was dark, cold, smelled like rust and old wood. She closed the door and whispered, "Merry Christmas. This is my gift to my sister. She needs to learn to share." I should have walked out. God, I should have, but I didn't. I gave in. And right then, the door creaked open. Catherine stood there. No yelling, no crying, just her eyes. Eyes that looked like her soul had just been torn from her body. She looked at me, then at Marissa, and in the softest voice imaginable, she said, "I always knew she'd do something like this, but I never thought you would too." And then she walked away, leaving us there naked, filthy, and broken. That night changed everything. Catherine didn't scream. She didn't even speak to me after that. We still lived in the same house, still sat at the same dinner table. But she only talked to me about the kids. Everything else, silence. We watched television together, but it was like watching next to a ghost. She used to talk through every show, guessing the plot, making jokes. Now, not a word. We sat at opposite ends of the couch. Not even a glance. We slept in the same bed, but it felt like she was on another planet. I missed her voice. I missed her stupid little jokes. I missed her warmth, her sarcasm, her laugh, and I hated myself. A few days later, I called Marissa, told her it was over. She laughed. "Over? Daniel, we didn't just screw in the shed. Or did you forget August? That hotel room? I still have the texts. Want me to send them to Catherine?" That's when it hit me. This was never about love or lust. It wasn't even about me. Marissa wanted to destroy Catherine, and I was the perfect weapon. Do you know what it's like? To wake up next to the woman who once adored you. Now, staring at the ceiling like you don't exist, to watch her smile at the kids, and know she'll never smile like that at you again, to miss the sound of her voice more than your own sanity. I didn't just cheat. I was used, and I let it happen. I betrayed a woman who trusted me completely, and now I live in silence. And every night I see her face again that night in the shed, and I realize I've lost the only person who ever truly loved me since that night in the shed. Catherine hasn't said a single word to me about what happened. Not one. No anger. No confrontation. No, how could you? Just silence. And that silence, it's like living inside a coffin with the lid only halfway shut. She still talks sure, but only about the kids. Daniel, don't forget Liam's dentist appointment at 3. Can you get more milk for Emma? Lucas threw up on the couch. Clean it before it stains. Cold. Direct. Like I'm her roommate. Like I'm some hired help. I try to look her in the eye when she speaks, but she never looks back. Her eyes float right past me, like I'm not even there. Dinner time is the worst. The kids laugh. They joke. They talk about school, video games, what they want for next Christmas. Catherine smiles at them, responds like nothing's wrong. She even laughs sometimes, that same old laugh. But it's not for me. I sit at the table, 5 feet from her, and I feel like I'm on another planet. We still watch television together. I mean, we sit in the same room, but she doesn't talk anymore. Before, she used to interrupt everything, guessing who the killer was, mocking the cheesy lines, laughing too loud. Now, she stares at the screen like she's watching static. And me? I watch her. At night, we sleep in the same bed. We used to fall asleep holding hands. Now, she lies with her back to me, wrapped in layers of blankets like armor. I lie there, in the dark, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe. Sometimes she shifts. Sometimes she doesn't sleep at all. Sometimes I hear her cry, soft, silent, but real. And I just lie there, frozen. Because what the hell do you say to a woman you shattered? A week after it happened, I finally did what I should have done from the start. I called Marissa. I told her it was over, that I was done, that it was a mistake, that I hated myself for what we did, that I never wanted to see her again. She paused. Then she laughed. Over? Oh, Daniel, don't flatter yourself. Her voice was smooth venom with a smile. You think that night in the shed was the only time? Really? What about August? That hotel in Midtown? The night I stayed over when Catherine had the flu? Or the time you said you were working late? I felt my throat tighten. She kept going. I've got everything, Daniel. The texts, the photos, screenshots. Want me to forward them to your lovely wife? I froze. I didn't know she'd kept anything. I didn't even know she'd taken pictures. And suddenly, I wasn't just guilty. I was trapped. Listen, she said, her tone turning ice cold. Don't ignore me. Don't block me. Don't play smart. Because if you try to make me disappear, I'll make sure Catherine gets the full album. Mary F. In Christmas. I hung up, stared at the wall. My hands were shaking, my mouth dry, and all I could think was, how far was she willing to go? That night, I walked into the living room. Catherine was folding laundry. The kids were laughing, building a blanket fort with couch cushions. The warmth in the room, I didn't belong in it. Not anymore. She looked up at me just briefly. No expression. No words. Just a look. And in that single glance, I felt it. She knew. Not everything. Not the blackmail. Not the photos. But she knew. This wasn't just one night. And I knew. There's no crawling out of this. I thought I knew who Marissa was. Flirty, reckless, immature. But deep down, just a silly little sister. I never realized she was playing a much darker game. It started with a memory, one I hadn't thought about in years. Back in college, Catherine had this boyfriend, Josh. Nice guy. A little quiet, but sweet. And one night, after a party, Josh told Catherine that Marissa had kissed him. Out of nowhere. In the kitchen, while Catherine was upstairs asleep. They broke up a week later. At the time, Catherine brushed it off. She was just a kid, 16, trying to feel grown up. But now, I wonder, was she really just a kid? Or was this something else entirely? The more I thought about it, the more things came back. The way Marissa always inserted herself into our lives. Showing up unannounced. Always needing to crash on our couch. Always watching us, especially when Catherine wasn't in the room. The way she'd say things like, "I don't know how you two make it work. If I were Catherine, I'd lose my mind." I used to laugh. Now, it haunts me. 2 weeks after the shed, Marissa texted me. Again. "I can't believe you're still choosing her after everything. She doesn't even love you, Daniel. She just needs a babysitter and a paycheck." I didn't respond. But something about that message, the way she said, "after everything," it made me wonder, what else had she done? One night, I followed a hunch. I logged into the shared iCloud account we had helped Marissa set up a year ago. She never changed the password, and what I found made my blood run cold. Photos, dozens of them, of me and Catherine. Screenshots from our Instagram stories. Private posts only visible to friends. And drafts. Unsent emails. Notes. Messages like, "You deserve better. He's been cheating for months. Check his messages. He's lying to you." All signed. Anonymous. She'd been sending fake anonymous tips to Catherine. Since before the shed, she had been planting seeds months in advance. I remembered Catherine confronting me once, back in October. She had asked, "Did you meet anyone new at work? Anyone message you weird stuff?" I said no, because back then, I hadn't done anything wrong. Yet, now I realize, Marissa was already laying the foundation. She wasn't just waiting for me to mess up. She was orchestrating it. And the worst part? I walked right into it. Like a fool. Like a puppet on a string. I confronted her the next day. Texted her, "Did you send anonymous emails to Catherine?" Her reply, "So what if I did? If your marriage was real, one message wouldn't destroy it." I didn't respond. Because she was right. One message didn't destroy us. I did. I let her in. I let her twist me. I let her turn me against the one person who ever truly had my back. And now I'm stuck. In this sick little web she spun around me, around us, and Catherine has no idea how deep it really goes. Not yet, but she's starting to suspect. She looks at me differently now. Not angry, not hurt, just hollow, like she's already halfway gone. And I deserve every second of it. It started with the little things. Catherine began wearing perfume again. Not the soft lavender she used to wear for me, no. This one was sharper, confident, a scent that said, "I'm not afraid of you anymore." She started waking up early again. Hair done, clothes neat. Not for me, never for me, but for something, someone else. She hummed while brushing her hair. She'd put on earrings just to go to the grocery store. And at night, after the kids went to bed, I'd see her open her laptop and smile. She was alive again. But it wasn't the Catherine I knew. This version was colder, quieter. And somehow, more beautiful than I remembered. Not because she forgave me, but because she was finally done trying to fix me. I remember watching her drink coffee at the kitchen table one morning, sunlight hitting her face just right. And I thought, this is the last time I'll see her like this. This is the beginning of her leaving me. I tried to talk. You look good, I said softly. She didn't even glance at me. Thanks, she replied, without a smile, without warmth, just like she was being polite to a stranger. That night, she said she had to step out. A quick meeting, she said. Wouldn't be long. I waited 10 minutes. Then followed. I felt pathetic for it, like a stalker, a man who lost control. But I needed to know who was taking my place in her world. I watched her walk into a quiet cafe downtown. Saturday near the window. Then, a man walked in. Not young, not flirty, just professional. Well-dressed, clean, carried a leather briefcase. He greeted her with a nod, not a hug. Pulled out a folder. They talked. She nodded. At one point, she laughed. Soft, effortless, the way she used to with me. And I felt something inside me twist. I didn't interrupt. I didn't go in. I just watched. From the car, in the rain, like a ghost staring through the glass at the life he used to have. When she got home, I asked, "Who was that?" She didn't even blink. "None of your business. Is it someone new?" She stared at me. Not cruel, not mocking, just empty. "Why do you care?" she asked. "You gave up the right to care." I didn't sleep that night. I tossed, turned, replayed the cafe scene 1,000 times in my head. By morning, curiosity got the best of me. I waited until she went upstairs. Then I checked her purse. Inside a business card. Family law attorney. I sat there, card in hand, heart in my throat. She wasn't replacing me. She was preparing to erase me. I confronted her. "Are you divorcing me?" She looked up from folding laundry. Eyes calm, voice steady. "Daniel," she said, "I don't need to scream at you. I don't need revenge. You've already done enough to yourself. I just want peace." Then she picked up a stack of towels and walked away. I collapsed onto the couch like the breath had been knocked out of me. And that's when Marissa messaged me again. "Heard your wife's lawyer is hot. Maybe he'll finally give her what you couldn't." I didn't respond. She messaged again. "You should come over. Remind yourself how good it felt when someone actually wanted you." Still, I said nothing. Then the final message. "Suit yourself. But when she throws you out, don't come crying to me." I wanted to throw my phone. But it wasn't Marissa's words that destroyed me. It was Catherine's silence. Over the next few days, she started boxing things up. Not angrily. Not emotionally. Just methodically. Photo frames. Kitchen utensils. Clothes. Even some of the kids' toys, the favorites. The irreplaceables. She labeled everything. I stood there, useless, watching the woman I vowed to protect, prepare to leave me. I thought the screaming would be the hardest part. I thought if she yelled, at least it meant she still cared. But she didn't yell. She didn't fight. She just moved on. And the scariest part? She was finally okay. I broke her. And now, I don't even get to help her heal. She didn't burn me in rage. She just stepped back and let me burn myself. Now I sit here in a house that used to be full of love, watching boxes pile up, listening to the laughter of my kids from a room I might not be welcome in for much longer. And all I can do is wait. Wait to be left behind. The day Catherine left, there was no scene. No slammed doors. No suitcases flying down the stairs. Just stillness. She packed the last box herself, labeled it Emma's school things. She handed the kids their backpacks, buckled them into the car, kissed each one on the forehead. She turned to me, and for a moment, I thought she might say something, anything, but all she said was, "We'll be staying with my sister in Vermont for now. The lawyer will contact you next week." No tears, no hesitation, just pure, practiced detachment. I followed her out to the driveway. "Catherine, please." She paused, hand on the car door. Didn't turn around. Didn't look at me. Just said, "You made your choice, Daniel. And now, so have I." Then she got in, started the engine, and drove away. I stood in the empty doorway for a long time. The wind carried the scent of her perfume. Or maybe I imagined it. I don't even know anymore. The house was silent. Utterly, completely silent. No little feet thudding up the stairs. No cartoons echoing through the living room. No laughter. No warmth. Just walls. Cold, accusing walls. I couldn't sit. I couldn't sleep. I wandered the house like a ghost, touching doorknobs, fingering clothes she'd left behind. And then I saw it. The photo on the mantel. Us. The wedding. Catherine in white, eyes glowing, leaning into my chest like I was home. I threw it across the room. Glass shattered. Frame splintered. But her face in the photo was still smiling. That night, I snapped. I scrolled through old messages from Marissa. Hundreds. Images. Videos. Words. Manipulations. She wanted this. She planned this. She set me up, played me, burned down everything I loved, and smiled while doing it. I opened my laptop, typed out an email, attached everything I had, screenshots, voicemails, photos she'd sent without me knowing. Wrote, "To whom it may concern, this woman is dangerous. She manipulates families, ruins lives, and keeps evidence to blackmail others." I hovered over the send button, finger shaking, but something in me stopped. A voice. Maybe Catherine's at place. Maybe just my own guilt, finally screaming louder than the rage. And I realized, what was the point? Marissa didn't ruin my marriage. I did. She didn't force me into that shed. She didn't make me lie. She didn't steal the words from my mouth when Catherine begged for honesty. That was all me. I closed the laptop. Saturday, there, in the dark. Not noble. Not brave. Just finished. A week passed. Then 2. Catherine didn't call. Didn't text. Didn't ask about bills or court dates or the furniture. Her lawyer contacted mine. I signed the papers. It was over. Just like that. One night, I saw Marissa at a grocery store. She looked different. Hair dyed black. New clothes. No smile. She saw me. Held my gaze. And for the first time since everything, she looked scared. I said nothing. Just walked past her. The way you walk past a car crash you caused, but survived. Back home, I sat on the floor of what used to be Emma's room. Still smelled like crayons and peanut butter and lavender shampoo. I stared at the wall for hours. And then, I cried. Not loud, not messy. Just slow, ugly tears that didn't stop for a very, very long time. You know what no one tells you? That when you destroy the one person who made you feel worth something, you don't just lose them. You lose yourself. Catherine didn't kill me. She didn't need to. She just stepped out of the ruins, took our children, and left me in the fire I built with my own hands. And the worst part is, I know I deserved every second of it.